again, my lovelies, and welcome to another edition of Rox Talks, only on Rox Network. We've got a twofer for you tonight. Two members of a project that's been set up during lockdown called the Echobats. Strange name, yes, but a great song that they've come up with called Save Me From Loving You. It's a happy-go-lucky summer song, and let's face it, something like that is certainly what we could all do with right now. We've got none other than Joel Hoekstra, who you should know from TSO and Whitesnake. And following that, with part two, we've got TNT's ex-singer, Tony Harnell. Here goes.
Really do appreciate you talking to us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
First, I'd like to talk about this project that you've got going, Echobats. Tell us about that. What's that all about?
Yeah, I think Matt Starr and Tony Harnell talked a while ago about putting together a project, and they thought of me, and then I'll in turn thought of James Lomenzo for a bass player would be cool, and we all wanted to do something a little outside of the hard rock realm that we've been in, just for fun. Showcase a little diversity for all of us, songwriting diversity, playing diversity, whatever. So I think we cited, like Queen as an influence, that kind of thing as a starting ground. So we developed a bunch of ideas for Tony, and this single that came out, Save Me From Loving You, is the first one that Tony completed and wrote to. So we're very excited to have it out, just kind of gauging everybody's interests in terms of whether or not we're going to go further with the project. But it's been really great. The reception single, the videos at basically 20,000 views right now, and just have had a lot of support from people on it and a lot of positive comments. So we're feeling really good about it.
So you should. I mean, it has really taken off, but I think that's got a lot to do with the current situation in the world, and goodness knows we needed a happy song.
Yeah, I think that's a nice thing. Timing-wise, we definitely, the video by default had to be a little bit of a quarantine type video, because we were in the thick of it when we shot the footage. I mean, here, especially here in New York where I live. So literally have my kids in it, because I wanted to shoot basically inside the apartment. I shot a little in the stairwell, just a tiny bit down at the end of my block in the park, but nobody was going out at that time here in New York. So it was that was even kind of a Rambo mission. That was like, just go down the block and shoot some quick footage and let's just see what we get. But I think by default or not by default, but because of that, we ended up with some unique results and kind of a really fun video that feels good, a fun song. It's making people happy, and people are looking for that right now. So, hey, it's cool. We didn't necessarily intend it to be that way, because we completed this song, and it just happens to line up as being something that fits really well with the situation right now.
And it was a good call. It was. I mean, it would be so easy right now to write a doom and gloom song, and you chose the opposite. And
yes, it's social distancing, right? Yeah. So, our new hit, "Wear the Mask." Anyway, yeah, we're really happy about it to get it out there. And I should mention too that as we developed the song, we all played on it. That I called in my friend Eric Levy from Night Ranger to play the keyboards on it. I didn't get Eric a proper mention when I talked about the lineup. So Eric and I always really enjoyed working together in Night Ranger. It's really fun to connect on something. And we'll take it from there. I mean, we signed a distribution deal with Sony for it. So it's become very legitimate out of nowhere. I mean, we just kind of took it as, hey, let's release this. It'll be fun. We'll do a Zoom style video, whatever. The video kind of became more serious as it went. The intent of the project became more serious as it went, and it seems to just be kind of growing as we're moving here, because people really like the song.
So is there any possibility of you guys writing more songs then? I mean, judging not by the
Yeah, I
results.
think we gave Tony 8 song ideas, so whether or not he chooses to move forward with those or we can on something new, we'll see. I mean, the thing that people don't understand is it costs a lot of money to put out new music, to manufacture a video and to get all the advertising done, and it's also at this time musicians aren't making money from touring, so
No,
we're trying to decide whether or not do we put more money in, do we try and move forward with this. Of course, everybody enjoys seeing the video, but it's hard for artists being, I use the term loosely for myself.
I wouldn't say that.
Just moving forward, how much you want to invest moving forward in something. So that's yet to be seen. We'll figure it out.
I hope so. It's got such a great sort of 60s kind of, retro vibe to it. It'd be very interesting to hear, where you take that. Do you continue with that line or move maybe into 70s and maybe throw a bit of Hendrix, bit of Free, and let your guitar licks shine a bit more?
I think that this intentionally would veer away from doing the guitar heroics. I mean, but that being said, I think people underestimate how difficult some of what I'm doing is. I mean, there's some interesting changes in chords and say maybe in a harmony slide that I challenge anybody to get it together and post it. I may do a little playthrough for everybody of that at some point, but it's not easy to play it. I mean, it's definitely not showing off, but I do enough of the guitar heroics thing between Whitesnake and Trans-Siberian Orchestra and my project Joel Hoekstra's 13, which is a little more hard rock. Not huge on the guitar solos either, but it's there's definitely shredding in it. So I was kind of like, it'd be nice to do something that's just melody and not, showing up chops.
On a silver tone guitar, I noticed as well.
Yeah, finally got it. It's 15 minutes of fame, right? Is that the phrase?
At least my husband.
I've known that guitar for a while, and it's very. It has a thing. You can hear on the intro, really in the clear, how that guitar sounds, and there's nothing else I own that would have that tone. So.
Yeah, it really works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
At first, I thought it was a Dan Electro, and then I thought, no, that's not the headstock.
Yeah, it's the real deal. I got that from a store in Cincinnati while on the road years ago. I mean, probably it's got to be at least 15 years ago. I got that guitar, and it's just kind of been in the collection, sitting around waiting to have its moment in the sun. So it finally got used in a video.
And now it has.
Yes.
So, I guess, would you ever, I mean, this is looking to the future. I mean, would you guys play live anytime? Would you have like just a few dates?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that depends on the state of the world. We're just waiting on the world. It's cracks me up when I get people like, any touring news, and I'm like, touring news, man. Are you watching the news at all? There is no touring news right now. Even people that had dates booked, it's super, super dicey at the moment.
Well, I mean, I guess, I mean, you normally do like the Trans-Siberian thing over the winter time as well. So I don't suppose that's going to happen now either, is it?
There's no official word on that. Just waiting to see. But I suppose at the moment, logic would lead me to believe it's not looking good.
No.
We'll see. I mean, TSO is such a gigantic machine. So you just wait to get the word. Has very little to do with what a guitar player thinks, right? I mean, I have no say-so in it whatsoever. We're talking about building 2 gigantic stage setups that we need to commit financially to, and not only trying to have crowds of 10,000 people once or twice a day, but have that done indoors, which is not ideal either. So we'll see.
It wouldn't be winter without TSO, though.
I understand. Trust me. I mean, it's a bummer. Obviously, anytime you lose work as a musician, it's a bummer financially because you go from having work to not having work. But it's really a bummer from the tradition standpoint. TSO should be canceled because it's that's a part of what my November, December looks like every year. I mean, it's what my November, December is every year.
Any news from David Coverdale regarding Whitesnake?
Not really. I mean, we're just in touch on the text thread every day. David's always texting with the band, but it's usually all just laughs. Just very much like his Twitter feed. We're just kind of having fun with each other and letting it. David's, when he's ready for business with us, he'll reach out, and whatever his vision is, I'm 100% here for him with being on board, man. I'm still really just glad that I'm a part of Whitesnake, and really grateful to work with David. He's a great dude. I really enjoy it. So whatever his vision is, let's rock, man.
Great stuff. Be nice to see that purple guitar again.
Yeah, all that
beauty
too for me. I live in New York City, as I mentioned earlier, and the Whitesnake guitars and gear lives in LA, so I'm without it too at the moment. So.
She's all alone.
Yeah, they're all sitting in a locker somewhere.
There's nothing worse than an unplayed guitar. And now I'm a guitarist myself, and they look always so sad.
Yeah.
But Joe, I know your time is very precious, and I'm really grateful for you talking to us today. So, well, I'll let you go. But
appreciate it.
Best of luck with this project. It's such a great song for the moment. And
thank you so much. That's so kind of you. I appreciate it. For something that started out, it's just let's have some fun. It's got some serious legs, so let's see how far we can take it and take it from there.
Yeah, keep rocking, Joel. Keep up the faith.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thanks for your time, Joel. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
And you.
Story, make it magical, picturesque, fantastic.
That's true. Are you ready to kick off then, Tony?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um, I spoke to Joel earlier on about your latest project, Echobats.
Yes.
I'd love to hear your view on it. I mean, how did it all start?
I can't remember the exact start point, but I believe it was Matt and myself were talking about doing something. Um, but I've known everybody involved in the project for a very long time. So James Lomenzo, I've actually known since about 1982 and used to stay over at his house. We wrote some songs together way back then. It was before he was in White Lion and a couple of years before I was in TNT. So we go back that far. And then Joel and I have known each other about 10 years, I'd say 8 or 10 years, and then Matt and Eric a little less. But um, yeah, we started talking. We had a serious conversation, I'd say about 2 years ago, and we that led to some months later kicking around some tracks, and then then we just started to kind of work on things a little bit. And this song was the first one that we finished, and then the whole thing happened, and we sort of were all busy doing other things. And I reached out to everybody and said, "Hey guys, let's put this out. This is really a great song." So put some finishing touches on it with some guitars and keyboards, and we had a Chris Collier mix it. He did a fantastic job, and um, and then we shot a video, all of us on our phones, and there you are. So, yeah,
It's I have to say it's a very good choice of song given the current climate.
yeah,
Uh, I think everybody needed a good happy song right now, and a good happy video as well. So I think you did it at just a perfect time for everybody.
yeah. It's funny because the instinct as an artist is to, and a lot of people have done some really brilliant, uh, things during this time, and more serious things for sure. But that is the instinct. The instinct is to want to do something kind of serious, and because it's a pretty serious time, and I probably will, and I'm sure you know that'll happen. But this song is it just felt right. Yeah, it just felt like kind of let's get it out for the summer. It's kind of a summer, roll the top down and drive around and blast it. It's a bit of a funny song too because the lyrics are not as happy as they seem. So it's kind of uh, not everybody catches that, but when they do, they sort of go, "Oh, that's interesting,"
Tell us more. I mean, I haven't got lyrics, so
Yeah.
uh,
Well, you can sort of hear it on the chorus. Uh, you know, uh, Save me from loving you before I lose my mind, because I don't know which lie is true or what I'm going to find, and then it goes on from there. So it's about somebody who portrays a certain image to the world that is a false kind of picture of who they really are, which a lot of people do. But I'm talking about someone who's a little bit dark, and uh, you don't find out about it till you're in a close relationship in some way. That's what it's about.
very interesting. And as you say, it's got hidden depths, hasn't it? This song.
Yeah. So you're saying save me from loving you. It's like
Mm.
please, because this is not going to go well. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Yeah.
Did you experience any problems? I mean, obviously, the distance between you guys was an obvious problem, but I mean, did it go together easier than you thought?
It did. And funny thing is, we put the song together long distance before all this happened. So because James and Eric are in California, Joel is in New York City, and I'm in Nashville. Now I'm actually in the UK with my girlfriend, um, and so we're really spread out. But we did the song long distance, and Joel sent me the track, a great track, and I wrote the melody and the lyrics to it, and then recorded all the vocals in a day or so, and sent it around, and everybody really loved it. So, yeah, we have not been in a room together, not even two of us, to my knowledge. Maybe Matt and James have, but not the rest of us.
You can't tell. I've got to say.
Yeah, it's pretty. I've done a lot of long distance projects, and this is it does sound pretty flawless, I'd say, and that's just a testament to the quality of the players involved.
I understand from Joel as well that you've got more songs that you're playing around with.
That's right. Yeah, we do. We've got a few other tracks, and we wanted to get this out and kind of see what happens. I had a friend of mine has a really awesome record label, and I sent it to him, and he said, "Oh, we'd love to, put this out on a distribution deal." So I did that, and now they're going to be kicking in some more promotion through Sony. The label is distributed by Sony, The Orchard. So. Um, yeah, it's. I think it's going well enough already that I think we're talking seriously about doing more and making this a serious project. So we'll see.
There's an album in this.
I'm sorry.
If there's an album in this.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it'd be fun to put out an EP, and just kind of keep developing this. And see where it goes. I don't know. I mean, I don't see this lockdown lifting for for a bit. So the possibility of continuing to make music is pretty. I would think is pretty good.
Well, at least you're being optimistic and making the best of the situation, and that's great for you as a musician.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, I think it's a surprising song. I was even surprised when I went on Blabbermouth, and I normally really avoid that site, not because of the people who run it, but because of the comments underneath every post. It's just people are just not positive there. But and they're all into really heavy metal, most of them. But under this song, I was shocked that even on Blabbermouth, the comments were so good. So I think it's the kind of song that even most people um, of a certain age range really loved all the great British bands in the 70s. The great sort of glammy Britpop kind of stuff that was happening with Sweet and even Bay City Rollers, but of course Queen and Sweet and Pilot and T-Rex and all the great, of course Bowie, and so and on and on. So I think that's kind of what this song is a we're tipping our hat to that vibe, but kind of throwing in some other little qualities as well. But you know, I think it works.
Yeah, you can hear in the song. I mean, it's that sort of sound and vibe that has resonated in our ears for what is now 50 years.
Yeah.
There's got to be something to it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too that I had when I wrote the song, and when we started talking about it, I had no idea that I was going to be in near London around the time that we wanted to start getting serious and do a video, and it's perfect, that I'd shot my scenes there for the video because the song, to me anyway, has a very very strong British energy to it.
How you finding Britain? You coping with the accents?
I mean, this is the longest I've been here in one stay. I've been here over 2 months now. So, um, I mean, I'm having a great time. I'm with my girl, and you know, there are a lot of things we can't do, obviously, because it's not open completely.
Mm.
But we're making the best of it. We're making music, and she's also a musician. So, uh, yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, there's not there's nothing we can do about it. So we have to make the best of it. And I'm just thrilled that we got this song out and that people like it so much.
Absolutely. Would you ever consider, once all the lockdowns are over and done with and everything, playing live with these guys?
Oh, absolutely. That's kind of part of what we have to see where this goes. I mean, it's easier to make a record in many ways than it is to organize 5 people to get on the road, especially when you're talking about 5 musicians who, at least the four musicians anyway, who are very in demand live players. So, you know, when this thing ends, those guys are going to be out, I'm sure, you know, working hard for a while. So, so I think that it's going to be difficult to get out and play live. But I think that if we can make a great record and people respond well to it, the possibility of maybe getting together for maybe a festival or two could be the start point, with a little bit less of a long term commitment, and then kind of see where it goes from there. I'm very realistic about these things. I could easily say, yeah, we want to get out and but the way things are these days, with the if we were 20 years old, then I could say that. But being that everyone involved in this project is a well established artist, and musician, I think it'll take some doing. But I don't think it's out of the question. It's going to take good organizing.
Well, we have to wait and see, I guess. On a more personal note, I mean, what are you doing outside of Echobats?
Well, I have been planning what to do. So I had a pretty major tour in Australia canceled right at the beginning of this, which was a huge disappointment.
Oh,
And I'd say easily, not entirely, but easily 50% or more of the reason that I didn't go was the outbreak of this thing. Um, I have to put the other percentage on the promoter. But in retrospect, even though I lost a lot of money, I would have been freaked out the entire time because this thing blew up
yeah,
basically during the time I was supposed to be there. Um, so so there was that, and then I have a tour scheduled with Michael Sweet, but that's been already moved once, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be moved again. It's scheduled for September and October, but uh, I don't I can't imagine it's going to happen with what's happening in the States right now. Uh, so that's on hold, and I just pulled out of a festival that I wasn't even announced yet. They were about to announce me, and I couldn't even believe they're going forward with it. And I actually still don't believe it's going to happen. I think it's going to get canceled at the last minute, so I pulled out of that. Um, I've been talking to the Norwegians. I call them the Norwegians, but people who follow me know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. So that's always that's always in the works. And I was actually hoping to get over there a couple of times while I've been in the UK, but Norway's done really well with this virus, and they've all but stopped it, and so they don't want anybody coming over there from the UK right now. So
no, they don't want us German buggers over there.
yeah, yeah.
um, On the topic of your past, I mean, going way back now to the days of TNT. I mean, I've got to say, your voice hasn't let you down at all, has it, over the years? It's quite incredible.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Um, I've been pretty careful with it, and it's funny. I kind of joke sometimes that the lack of touring over the years has probably helped me. But if I had to choose, I would have preferred to be touring more.
Yeah,
Um, I've released a lot of music. Over the years, even after the '80s, I've released much more music, and since 95 or 97 or whatever it is, 94, 95, than I have by far the '80s. I had 3 albums in the '80s, and the rest have been since then. I've got probably 25 studio albums. I don't know what it is by now, um, but so anyway, yeah, I'm really, really blessed that I can still do it. Takes a lot more work now, and a lot more preparation, a lot more practice, to keep get the muscles going again, and I have really honestly not been singing a lot during lockdown. Where I am in England, we don't have very cooperative neighbors, so
ah,
and my girl's a guitar player, so she's hasn't been able to crank it uh, very much. So, you know, but anyway, so yeah, thank you for the compliment, and I appreciate it. I do my best.
true. With all these sort of 80s bands getting back together for these different festivals and tours and things, would you ever consider it with TNT?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I just want it all to be in place the right way.
Yeah,
People who care about TNT, um, you know, like to banter back and forth about who's the problem or what's the problem, or and honestly, it's there's so much speculation, but the easy way to put it is I just have always wanted the business to run really, really professionally, and it just hasn't been for a very long time. And even in the '80s, it wasn't great, but it was a lot better. We had a big team in place, but that's a very important thing for me at this stage of the game, that the business is run well, and then we don't have to think about things so much. We can focus on the music and on the shows and doing our best without having to get into all that stuff. So we're very lucky that we have places like Norway and Japan that basically could sustain us very well, so that we can then branch off and play for our fans around the world once we get everything back in order, which has been the plan several times in the past 10 or 15 years. We got derailed a couple of times for various reasons. And hopefully we can get the train back on the tracks, and get back out there and sustain it until we don't want to do it anymore. That's my plan anyway, is to get back out there and then just hopefully hold it together until we can't do it or don't want to do it anymore.
I know for a fact that there'd certainly be a lot of people that love to see you back on the stage again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to make that, though, the only
No,
sort of thing
no,
that I mean, it's definitely something I'd like to just have running, up and running, so that we all can benefit from, the fans and the band can benefit from all these years of emotional and investment and time. I mean, it's something that I've obviously spent most of my adult life doing, and so has Ronnie, and uh, certainly it does best when Ronnie and I are on stage together. So that's what we need to do when the time is right. But I'm also looking at some other things. I'm always sort of, keeping the doors open and making inquiry, just checking things out all the time and seeing if there's what's going on, and making plans. So we shall see where this goes. And I'm sort of getting to a point where I'm not pushing super hard. If something great comes along unexpectedly, I'm always open to do it. But I'm not sort of pushing like crazy right now at this point in my life. I'm sort of, the TNT thing will come back together. I'm confident when it's ready to, and other things, if they happen, great. If not, I'll be happy living a good life.
And why not? I mean, a good musician always finds a voice somewhere doing
Yeah,
something.
I'm not going to stop singing or anything. It's just a matter of it's got to be. I just don't have it in me to do the hustle and bustle with it anymore.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
Nah.
that's for younger guys like Joel.
Oh, he'll love you saying that.
What's that?
He'll love you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah,
The young kid.
yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't call him that. You call him that?
Well, he's younger than me, so it's funny. I find myself calling people kids, and then I find out they're 50 years old. And I go, "That's pretty funny." I mean, I'm only 57, but still, and I feel like a kid most of the time anyway.
That's rock and roll for you.
Yeah,
Keeps you young.
that's right.
Well, Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for the interview. And good luck with Echobats and anything you turn your hand to, because knowing you, it'll be a great success.
Well, thank you very much, Roxie. Appreciate it.
Okay, you have a good evening.
You too. You too. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.